You are innocence personified, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone, and I will drag you down and sell you out.
Miramax Films is proud to present one of the most celebrated motion pictures of the year. The winner of the 1994 Palme d'Or, the best picture of the Cannes Film Festival.
Come on, let's get in character. Why are you so interested in Big Man's wife?
Well, he's going out of town, Florida, and he asked me if I'd take care of her while he's gone.
Take care.
No, man. Just show her a good time, make sure she don't get lonely.
Girl, you see,
This is a moral test of oneself.
I do believe Marcellus, my husband, your boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted.
Whether or not you can maintain loyalty.
Night of the fight, you may feel a slight sting. Pride only hurts, it never helps. In the fifth, your ass goes down.
I have to say, you play with matches, you get burned.
We should have shotguns for this kind of deal.
We're in a lot of danger, aren't we?
I'm prepared to scour the earth for that moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Get down, get down.
You got a corpse in a car, minus a head in a garage. Take me to it.
Don't you hate that?
Hey, what?
Uncomfortable silences.
Starring Mary Barone. 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 And Mary Barone.
Die, you mother!
In a new film from Adonis Ball. Sulk Fiction.
I helped hide a body. I was helping him hide her body. I was guilty of murder. They did not find my DNA. They did not find my fingerprints. They did not find me. Yes, I did what he told me to do to earn his trust. So I was guilty of murder. Anything that I did afterwards, I just murdered a woman. And he had already murdered somebody else and shown me her body. I was okay with it. And as soon as I got away, I went to the police. And I pretended like told them everything. All of you are saying that you just want justice for Roberta. You just want people to know the truth. You just want justice for a potato. But you want justice for her.
Yeah.
Why would I not be in prison? There is literal evidence. There was absolutely no evidence to call me a murderer. Because when they did the investigation on her
Welcome, everyone. Welcome all. Welcome, crowd. It is Rickzilla's. This is the Rickzilla's best. Or actually, no, this is Mary's Sunday Best. Welcome to Mary's Sunday Best. I'm your host, Rickzilla. And tonight we'll be looking at none other than Mary Woods Barone, also known as Adrastia. As I said, I did take a break from covering the Mary shit for the time being. I mean, yeah. But someone has opened my eyes to the craziness that is Adrastia. Luckily, I decided, yeah, let's end that dry spell and, you know, it's time. It's time to enter the new year. We'll do this shit right with a little bit of Mary. Or at least drunk Mary, because now that Mary can't get her weed, she's resorting to alcohol. And oh boy. So we're going to be taking a look at a few videos I have put into a playlist, and then we're gonna go and make our little analysis on what kind of person Adrazia is. Lord knows we already know the type of person she is. But I just wanted to give a little emphasis on how much of a piece of shit. Okay, let's get some music in. And now we're going to be having a little fun, as you may say. Anyway, for those of you who are tuning in, welcome to Rickzilla's show, the Merry Sunday Best. I'm your host, Rickzilla, and this is my new setup. Might not be much to look at, but at least it's something. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get on to the insanity that is Adrastia. So, the first video is this one. And you can tell off the bat, she is completely hammered drunk. And I'm just going to dislike this shit. Because fuck her.
Okay, so to answer a couple of questions real quick. I am drinking again.
We can tell.
It helps me to smoke less. Personally, I would prefer to smoke marijuana. But over the past year, I received so much hatred and anger towards my marijuana use that it has made me self-conscious.
No one's upset that you use marijuana. Most people are upset that most people are upset that you spend the money that people give you on weed, when that money could have gone to, I don't know, your bills. That money could have gone to paying your utilities. But nope, weed first. And only weed. And the fact that you're giving up weed for alcohol goes to show that, yeah, alcohol is not a good substitute for weed. It is not. Trust me. It is not. I mean, you're basically you're trading in one poison for another.
About how much I smoke. And since I'm not able to fully control my mind without some sort of help, I had to switch to other legal forms of, help. Obviously, alcohol is not really help. It is, alcohol is a medicine.
Rubbing alcohol is a medicine. And that's only used to treat wounds. But alcohol can also be a medicine only to stabilize yourself only to stabilize just so that you don't shake whenever you're whenever you're patching someone up.
But
really.
Only to a certain extent. I have CPTSD. I'm schizoaffective. I'm extremely depressed.
And there she goes, faking an illness as usual. Honestly, I expect less from her. And I say that with other cows who are tired of this bullshit. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody who's watched my content is tired of her, because I usually solely talk about her. But it is what it is. Anyway, let's get on with this. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are tired right now.
And I stopped drinking back in 2013. And I'm only back drinking now because there was so much backlash against my using marijuana in California to help with my mental stability issues.
Once again, Mary, no one... Let's see what her comment section has to say. People's Poet says, Miss B, you didn't feel guilty for smoking weed. You have a history of heinous things and zero guilt thereafter. Stop lying. That is the worst fake drunk I have ever seen since I was 14. Poon Gobbler said, if you want to fit in with society, keep smoking weed. That's fine. Stop shaving your head into a flashy haircut and dyeing it weird colors. Bathe daily. Change your clothes daily. Anything... Oh, Roberta Losgo said, anything to avoid responsibility and be a queen victim. Cringe Dr. Cringe PhD said, Mary, alcohol is far worse than marijuana. I agree. Neither alcohol or weed is a better coping mechanism for you.
I don't really like drinking. It makes me feel...
Once again...
It makes me feel like my mother. Because my mom was a heavy alcoholic.
I take being a piece of shit runs in the family. Am I right, guys? Oh, wait, it's just me.
And I like to believe that I'm a little bit stronger, but the truth is that I'm not. I'm not stronger. I grew up in hell. My life has been an absolute nightmare, and it's unbearable.
Oh, boo frickin' who, Mary? Stop playing the victim and start owning up to your mistakes. It's not your well, maybe it is your mom's fault that you're brought up like this, but regardless, you are not the product of your bloodline.
Unless I have something to help me cope. And since the internet is not accepting of marijuana in states where it's legal.
No, Mary. No. That's not why people are upset with you. People are upset with you is that you have a habit of lying constantly. And you know how I feel about liars. You lie so much that you don't even know what the truth is. But you go on and try to make it as if you're the one who is being wrong here. Not the other way around. The reason why people don't like you is because you have a habit of flagging people's channels, slandering people into silence, reporting channels who have done absolutely nothing to you, berate others for being, well, let's just say, you berate others for having a right state of mind. You threaten suicide on a daily basis. You make response videos over comments that are just basically put there to fuck with you. Honestly, how many times have you been doing this? It's been over 2 years. It's been over a year since I covered you, Mary, and already I could see why AP just made the decision not to put up with your bullshit anymore.
The alcohol is my only option because alcohol is legal everywhere. You know, alcohol is legal in literally every state, every country, every continent. Alcohol is the one fucking...
You have to have an ID to purchase alcohol, Mary.
Factor that we all can agree on, I guess. That it's not illegal. So, if that's the only option I have...
Alcohol is not a better substitute for marijuana. They're not good coping mechanisms. They're not good for your mental state. Alcohol does more damage to your brain than weed, than pot. It can kill your brain cells. I mean, look at Revelation News. Look at Jason Egrop. He's been an alcoholic for years, and guess what happened? Shanny forced him to quit drinking to the point where he suffered severe brain damage.
For feeling better, then that's the option I'm going to take.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to be drunk. I don't want to be high. I just want to feel better.
Once again, Mary, these are not these are not good choices for you to make yourself feel better. No, alcohol doesn't make you feel better, neither does marijuana. If anything, alcohol will make you feel worse. Because, of course, liver damage, cirrhosis of the liver, you know, alcohol can literally kill you.
That's truly all I want, is just to feel better. And for a long time, marijuana did that for me. But then there was so much hatred and anger and abuse thrown towards me because of it.
No, we're not hating you for liking marijuana. We're hating you because you're disingenuous. You say that you need money to live, but you use that money to buy weed. We hate you because you're dishonest, Mary. You lie all the time. And then you go around playing the victim in hopes someone will give you a few dollars.
That I started feeling guilty for smoking marijuana.
No, Mary. You're guilty because you don't want to admit that you were just about as responsible for Roberta Law's death as Kenneth McBride is. That's what you're guilty of.
It's California. Nobody should be feeling guilty for smoking marijuana, but I do.
Dude, we're not harping on you for smoking weed. Well, hey, some of the people who talk about you, people like Adonis Paul, people like Virgie, people like Royce Lopez, they like the Mary Jane too. I don't partake in that shit because, well, I don't know if weed is right for my body. I've seen a lot of people smoke weed, but I'm on some medication right now, and I don't think it'll agree. My body will agree with the weed. I have to know if my body can be okay with like edibles or CBD gummies.
I do, because there's so many people that are extremely hateful and vindictive.
How do you help someone? To Batman, you say a good point. How do you help someone this delusional? I don't know, to Batman. I honestly don't know how anyone could feel sympathy for her. I don't think anyone is going to feel sympathy for someone who is so detached from reality.
Again,
some people just do it because they don't know the full story. Others just do it because they want to fuck with her. But again, nobody likes her. No one likes her. Not even her family likes her.
Against that plant. And those same people are fine with alcohol. They have no problem with getting drunk. So I truly
sorry
feel
to
like
hear that,
Batman.
All right.
Okay, so
and now we are here to see the Mary that we all know and love. The only way for me to find peace is death. The only way that I'll find peace is death. That's the Mary we all know. The Mary who goes around crying, "Why won't I die? I need to die so that cyberbullying could be illegal."
oh, the assumptions and accusations, and I'm just faking being drunk. I have been drinking about half a bottle of Bacardi a night and only about 2 bowls of weed since just around Christmas. So
still not a good look for you, Mary. Still not a good look for you.
There's literally nothing I can do to prove to you how much I've drank. There's literally nothing I can do to convince you that I'm doing this because of the lashback that I got.
Lashback? I mean, okay, I believe her. I believe that she's drunk because of the slurred speech. I could tell she might be drinking a bit. Drinking a little too much. I mean, either you could fake the slurred speech, but then again, given Mary's history of drug abuse and her histrionic personality and her histrionics, I can believe that she may be drinking. I've seen drunk people. This bitch is all fucked up.
For smoking marijuana. This is just where my life is at this point.
Keep in mind that Mary chose to live this life. Mary chose to live like this. No one told her to go run away to... Well, no one told her to move to LA to be homeless. She made the choice to hop on a Greyhound and move from Florida all the way to California.
Whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, this is where I am at.
And I have to say this, Mary. Whose fault is it that you're living, that this is your outlet? This is your only outlet. Whose fault is it that you're being bombarded with hate comments? And whose fault is it that you're being harassed constantly? Clearly not us. Clearly not the trolls. Clearly not Adonis Paul. Not Royce Lopez or JJ Stoner. Hell, not even Hatman or Virgie. And most definitely not even Aunt Kathy is to blame. Even though you like to point fingers at everyone.
After a full year of being told to kill myself because I would prefer to smoke marijuana to deal with my severe mental health issues, which nobody even believes that I have.
Well, probably because you fake a mental illness every 1 to 2 days. You look up certain mental illnesses on WebMD and claim that you have that disorder. You claim to be bipolar. You claim to be schizophrenic. You claim to be borderline personality disorder. You claim to have CPTSD. You claim to have all these kinds of illnesses. And yet you don't show proof that you have any of these illnesses. So, again, we are going to assume that it's all fabricated.
And now nobody even believes that I'm drinking. So, like, I literally have to kill myself live on stream for anybody to believe that anything is real.
Oh, God. Once again, this is a repeated pattern. Every time she doesn't get her way, every time Adrasia doesn't get her way, she'll threaten suicide as a way to scare her detractors into doing what she wants. Adonis Paul has made it clear so many times that this pattern of behavior has been a repetitive thing. And this is her only way of coping.
Even though nothing I have said is a lie. That's where my life is at this point.
Misery is inherent. Okay, so let's Uh-oh. Dark Isaac. I don't know. She tried to reach out to me, Draven, at one point. She tried to reach out to me at one point when I first started looking into her videos. She tried. I was talking about I mentioned that Adrasia had sold Roberta's wheelchair to like the Salvation Army, and yeah, I was wrong. I said Goodwill. I said that she sold Roberta's belongings to Goodwill. I was wrong. It was the Salvation Army. And then I heard and about the part where she said that she would cut herself. until she bled out as a way to scare her grandmother into giving her money for drugs. That I found out was basically over exaggeration. Adonis Paul had to correct me on that because he said that Adrasia doesn't really cut herself. If anything, she's a scratcher. Yes, I use Streamlabs, Draven. I mean, dude, I use Streamlabs. If this is Isaac, please. Trolling. I think most of us. I think that's basically. Actually, that's basically everybody who trolls Adrasia. And Isaac, I understand that someone's lurking in our chat. But we know Isaac. Alright, so I think everybody has tried. But then again, keep in mind that most of Adrasia's subscribers are solely trolls. I mean, she is basically easy to troll because, like what Adonis Paul says, she will believe. She will go through like a phase where she will pretend to believe in what random trolls tell her in her comments. Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, let's get back to observing Mary in her natural habitat.
The thing nobody seems to understand is none of this really matters. Nobody is better than anybody else because they have more money or because they're more popular. In the end, we're all just going to die and be eaten by the ground and forgotten. What we do in this life is merely for us to try to get through the trauma and hell that living on Earth has become, because people don't have children anymore just because they love them. People have children because they're poor, and sex is the only affordable fun they have. And
you don't scare me, Isaac.
Those children grow up abused and miserable and spend the rest of their existences trying to escape that misery that there is no actual escape from, because it's literally just the way we were born into the world and trained to believe.
That's true. I mean, then again, Mary is crazy as hell. She always believes that she was born to be miserable for the rest of her life. Honestly, I could believe that shit. And it is true. But we all know. Oh, good. Good.
if neither weed or rum is an acceptable coping mechanism for 18 years of head lice and dirtiness and roaches.
Oh, Isaac is Dark Ninja's real name. Draven just wanted to make sure you were actually the Batman because there have been a lot of fake accounts of people impersonating users. So that's why Draven wanted to make sure if you were legit the Batman. I talked to you in the past. And I looked up and I could tell you're the real deal. I mean, you started your account in 2015, right?
And your own father threatening to kill everybody in the family, and beatings and screaming.
Yeah, don't worry about it, the Batman. Don't worry about it. It's just we just need to be careful because whenever someone comes in the chat, we just need to. And trust me, I've had that before. There have been people who tried to impersonate other people just to fuck with me. And you know what? I could say, nice try. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on them.
What is it in this world that makes that kind of life for the first 18 years of your existence bearable?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I have a loving family who supports me throughout my entire life and continues to support me regardless of what I do. That's something you don't know about, Mary. That is something you don't want to acknowledge. But then again, you never were born in a proper family. I mean, your mother was basically a criminal who has had a rap sheet that pretty much dwarfs Shani's. I mean, she was arrested for prostitution. And the only crime your dad was guilty of was selling weed to a 13-year-old. And you tried to make him out as this evil monster because you want to validate your self-perceived victimhood. And how do you expect someone like Aunt Kathy to validate your stories when she hasn't actually been to your house? Most of the stuff that Aunt Kathy has said is from her other sister. So, again, but then again, I see you, Mary, and you are not a reliable narrator. Even if you tried to reach out to me that one last year, when I first started covering you, on your Adrazia Needs Help channel, when you still operated under that, I had to hear it from Adonis Paul that you never have ever cut yourself to the point of bleeding out. If anything, you're a scratcher. My struggles are not the cause of yours. Everybody, Maggie May says, everybody has problems. Yeah, everybody does have problems. It's how you handle the problems that separates the happy from the miserable. You chose to be miserable. That is something. Yeah, Dark Ninja is crazy. But actually, no, hippie. Dark Ninja's stupid. I understand, Draven. I understand. And speaking of, and the reason, and why did I, and again, this also goes into my other, this goes into another thing that Dark Ninja did. Why I tried connecting Adrastia to Dark Ninja is because, well, Dark Ninja has been in her chat saying, when are you going to kill yourself? And also Dark Ninja posed as Mary and put her address on 4chan saying that she likes to be raped even though she doesn't ask for it. And the reason why he put it there was because Mary unintentionally doxed herself by filming her light bill. Even Adonis Paul said that that wasn't cool.
My struggles are not the cause of your struggles. I've said this before because I've gotten comments like this before, and it's always so frustrating to me that people come at me angry that I'm able to get help for my mental health issues, and they are not.
I get help for my mental health issues, Mary. That doesn't make me weak. That doesn't make me less of a human. If anything, that makes me more human because I know I have flaws that I can remedy. You chose to live like this. Everybody has problems. Everyone has problems. It's just about how you choose to solve those problems. Like what Maggie May said in the comments, everybody has problems. It's how you handle the problems that separates the happy from the miserable. And you choose to be miserable. And VMAX says, your family is not the cause of your troubles, yet you say it is. You say it over and over. There are people who can't work for legitimate reasons, who get less because of people like you. Timmy's also said, you forgot you have a stove, fridge, and a bathroom. Drinking booze and taking meds is a huge no-no. It won't stop, but it won't stop you.
Or
yes, guys, this is where our tax, this is where your yes, people in California, this is where your tax dollars are going to. This is where your tax dollars are going to.
The person that,
yeah, to support people like Mary and support people like Shani and Vaughn.
that was yelling at me today was saying that I'm the reason that their husband can't get the medication he needs and is dying. I'm the reason.
What is there to make fun of, the Batman? She sucks all the goodness out of people. She brings the worst out in people. It's just how you it's just how you interpret it. I will choose not to take it seriously as of now. I'll just do what AP does and just poke fun at at her stupidity.
He needs and is dying. That their husband can't get the medication he needs and is dying. I'm the reason.
I don't know. I think the reason, yes, you are the reason why people can't get their medication. It's because you're sucking out all the insurance. You're basically siphoning all of what everyone's hard-earned money. This is why we're in a recession here, Mary. You're at fault. This is why our economy is completely fucked. It's because of you and people like you, Shani, Rev, G-Man, and Von Helton. You guys are at fault for why our economy is completely fucked. And you're probably the reason why our health the health department is in a frenzy right here because they support people like you. Well, people like the welfare. This is why our welfare. Never mind. I forgot what I was going to say.
Because I live in California and my medications for my mental illness are free for me. And somehow being on the system, having what I need.
Dude, Dark Ninja is an idiot. He's basically a tragic simp. Well, actually, no, he tries to support the worst type of people. The Batman. Dark Ninja likes to support the worst type of people. Before he became like a tragic simp, he was basically a simp for Jared Genesis. And Jared Genesis is a piece of shit. And during that time, he was also friends with someone who goes by the name Scooby331. If you don't know who that guy is, there's 6 documentaries made on him by Adonis Paul. Which, of course, he basically labels him in like a Star Wars saga. Star Wars-esque saga.
To live a somewhat peaceful life, it's not the greatest. I'm not living in luxury. I don't have probably as much as most of you have. I got
well
have probably as much as most live, having what I need to live a somewhat peaceful life. It's not the greatest. I'm not living in luxury. I don't have probably as much as most of you have.
That is true. You don't live the lap of luxury like Shannon Reb did. You're just basically too lazy to even get a job, to even pay for half the stuff you've been gifted. Like I said, and this has been known. She was gifted a refrigerator. She was gifted a stove. She was gifted a microwave that was bought and paid for by your tax dollars. And she tried to pawn that microwaves just so that she could get a few bucks for marijuana. That's why people are upset with her, is because she always tries to grift people out of their hard-earned money just so that she could feed her addictions. That's why people are upset with her.
I got an apartment, I got a bed, and I got a TV.
But for how long, Mary? How long are you going to keep that? Wait a minute, Mary. Didn't you say last month that you were going to be out on the street? What happened to that? What happened to you crying about, oh, What happened to that, Mary? That fake homeless script probably didn't work much.
I don't really want that much else, except to not be miserable all the time, and to not hurt. That's all I'm seeking in my life, is simply to not hurt anymore.
Oh, oh, Mary. You're gonna hurt a lot more in the near future. You're gonna be hurting a lot more. Maybe it won't be Adonis from Adonis Paul's group. Maybe it won't be from Royce Lopez. But someone is probably gonna make you want to hurt yourself. Someone who doesn't even know half the story is gonna make you want to hurt yourself. You think this group is bad? There are people who are probably gonna fuck with you regardless.
Just want to feel better.
No, Mary, no.
Smoking weed or drinking, or I just want to feel better. No, Mary.
You don't get to feel better. You get to feel worse. Probably because you chose to feel worse. And because you're a piece of shit. You're a lying sociopath who may or may not have been who has also been an accessory to a murder that took place 12 years ago. Keep in mind, Batman, that this bitch was an accessory to a murder case that took place 14 years ago. Actually, it was 12 years ago. Actually, no, it was 13 years ago. That took place 13 years. Well, it'll be 13 years come February, which is on her birthday.
It's not about wanting to be high. It's about wanting to not hurt anymore. And, and I get that.
It wasn't a stove to Batman. She tried to pawn a microwave. A free microwave that was gifted to her by the taxpayers.
But a lot of you are also hurting. There's a lot of pain in this world. There's a lot of sickness. There's a lot of
bigotry.
Down and outs. But when you're blaming one person who's sick for the reason that another person is sick.
Mary, you're not sick. Well, maybe you are mentally fucked up, but whose fault is it that you're mentally fucked up? Keep in mind that this bitch, this horse frog, this mongoloid of a human, has been known to have had a severe drug problem. I mean, what kind of person would put an ad out for Craigslist to do it for a little sucky? I mean, this bitch used to suck dick for coke. This bitch used to suck dick for meth. I mean, this bitch looks like the type of person who might have done meth in her life, in her past. I mean, just look at her. This is the face of a meth head right here, folks.
When the two people are not connected in any way, it's what am I doing that is causing your husband to suffer?
You kill people with your words. You take advantage of the welfare system. You're taking advantage of the welfare system by sponging off the taxpayers who have paid for everything that you take for granted. You don't do anything for yourself. Someone has to do it for you because you are too lazy and too stupid to even put in the effort. And you come on here begging for money, hoping that someone with half a brain is going to give two flying fucks about you, Mary. I'm sorry, but that shit don't fly with anybody.
What am I doing that is stopping your husband from being able to get his medications? What am I doing? By seeing my doctor and taking my medications, how is that preventing other people from seeing doctors and getting medications?
It's not that it's the fact that you lie about going to doctor's appointments. It's the fact that you lie all the time, saying that you've been keeping up with your appointments, when in actuality, you don't even go outside anymore that often. Granted, yes, COVID is still running rampant as we speak. But when she fibs about seeing a psychiatrist, or when she lies to her psychiatrist just to get free weed or free medication, that's when people have a problem. Honestly, I would have expected, you should join Truthfully Trisha's little support group. If she ever does another support group stream where she invites people on there, maybe I should share the link and post it in your community tab. Maybe I should post a link in your community tab so that you can go on, and if I ever catch another live stream from Truthfully Trisha, I should definitely post the link to her StreamYards so that you could join in and, I don't know, make the entire thing about yourself. Because that's...
And, I know that not all... Sorry, my hand is itching. Not all medications are free. Because some cost a whole lot more. And unfortunately, medications that will help people who are dying are extremely expensive. And they're often not free. Everywhere. There are places where they're free, you can go online and look for services that will help provide your husband his medication. Like, if it's not where you live, you can try to move to where the medication is. That's kind of what I did. I couldn't get medication in Florida, but when I got to California, I could. I had nothing.
Well, that didn't stop you from giving a little sucky for a little weed. Yes. What about when you invited guys over to your tent on your grandmother's property in exchange for weed? What about those times when you would bring random guys over to fuck you so that you can pay for your medication?
Thing to leave behind. I had no family that cared about me. I had no job. I had no kids. I had nobody.
Well, thank God you don't have kids. Otherwise, you would have put them through the same torture as you did your grandmother. That, or you probably would abandon them like you did Misty.
So there was nothing stopping me from going where the help was. a lot of you also need help.
Yeah. Yeah, she's trying to lecture us in trying to get help.
And I'm aware that it's not it's not possible for most people to just up and move where the help is.
Yeah, but again, most people are not you. Most people don't choose to be homeless like you, Mary.
But to blame...
And again, most people don't abandon their life to get the help.
The people who are receiving help for your lack of it is just... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, you know. It's like that post you see all the time, you know. Oh, why can people get heroin for free, but I have to pay for my insulin, which I need to survive? Well, the question should be, why do I have to pay for my insulin?
You still have to pay for heroin. Heroin isn't cheap. And from the looks of it, you look like you did. And from the looks of it, Mary, you look like you've probably done some heroin in your time. I just don't need to look into your past to know that you might have done some heroin. I mean, look at you. What kind of sober person would dye their hair like this?
You don't have to bring in another person's struggles or another person's haves or have-nots to justify whether or not you deserve a medication that will keep you alive. Does that make sense? Do y'all understand me at all? Like, is anything I'm saying getting through to any of you? Or are you all just sitting around looking at me as the reason that you're struggling? I'm the reason you're poor. I'm the reason you're sick. I'm the reason that people don't take sick people seriously. I'm the reason that people don't take abuse victims seriously.
You're one of the reasons, Mary. You're not the only one. There are people like you who take advantage of the system, who make people with actual issues look bad by default. You're not the only one. There are people like you who do that. One example is, of course, Shannon Dornbush, who used to go by the handle Shanny for Christ, now goes by Cult of Shanny. She has been taking advantage of the welfare system. She's been faking illnesses left and right as a way to gain access to drugs so that she could retreat into her little delusions. And you're pretty much doing the same thing too. You're faking an illness so people will give you money for weed. And as I said, you and Shanny should definitely collab together. You and Shanny should definitely collab. You, Shanny, and Truthfully Trisha should do like a show together. Adrazia. I mean, you're just about as much of a victim as Shanny is.
I'm the reason. But I actually am sick. I actually am an abuse victim. I'm not lying about any of this.
Maybe you were an abuse victim at one point. But instead of overcoming your abuse, you let the trauma. Maybe you were a victim of trauma at one point, but instead of overcoming your trauma, you just let it corrupt you, twist your mind, and turn you into what this is.
I'm not doing anything to actively hinder anybody else's lives.
Well, you tried to ruin Adonis Paul's life by flagging his Patreon. You tried to ruin Royce Lopez's life by contacting one of Rotzi's sponsors. You had Virgie's first channel nuked because he had evidence that proves that you were lying about the murder of Roberta Laws. And not to mention, you called Adonis Paul's audience members pedophiles.
I am not stopping your husband from receiving his medication. Wherever it is you live is hindering you, not me. I would never personally stop anybody from receiving their medications. So, and that's a lot of blame. That's a heavy load to put on the shoulders of somebody who is simply trying to exist. And I know being on the system is the problem. You all hate people that are on the system. You think if nobody was on the system, everybody could be on the system.
It's not the fact that we hate people who are in the system. It's the fact that you take advantage of the system. People like you have been and people like you, and people like Shani, and people like Christian have been taking advantage of the system for a majority of their adult lives. It's because of your ego, Mary. Your ego is a very dangerous one.
That's not how it works. If everybody was off of the system, the taxes would still be insane. Your medications would still be insane. It would all still be happening. It's not my fault.
Nope. It's not your fault. But it's people like you who take advantage of the system that are to blame.
It is absolutely not a single mentally ill woman's fault that the world is in the state that it is.
Actually, you're right on that one. It's not just one person. It's everyone. Everyone who claims to be mentally ill. But instead of actually getting help for their mental illness, they just take advantage of the system. There are people like you who take advantage of other people's generosities.
Tells you that they have been diagnosed with a mental disability, please believe them.
I believe them. Just not you, Mary.
If somebody tells you that they've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar, or CPTSD,
which you don't have. all those you don't have. Once again,
just believe them.
You claim to have all of those. You claim to have them all. You claim to have both bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. You can't have both, Mary. You can't be bipolar and schizophrenic at the same time. It's one or the other.
Because it's hard enough for people who have these problems to accept that they need help. But when the person who needs the help is in a family that is also in denial that the person needs help.
I don't know, because the family doesn't like you? Because you take advantage of people? I mean, remember when you took advantage of your grandmother's generosity? And you basically put her through hell by, well, abusing her, threatening to commit suicide if she doesn't give you money for drugs, holding people hostage as a way to get them, to scare them, to do what you want.
It's a very dangerous situation. My family is in complete denial about my mental health conditions. That's why they're dangerous for me.
No, your family got tired of your bullshit. They saw that you were a lost cause, and they decided that you weren't worth dwelling upon. Also, you basically have slandered them constantly. So yes, I could see why they're upset with you.
Because in order for me to get better and to get to a place where I can live, I have to accept that I have these troubles, that I have to take these medications, that I have to do these things.
No, Mary, you take these medications because you're addicted to them. It's not because you have bipolar, schizophrenia, CPTSD, borderline personality disorder, what have you. It's because you're a drug addict. That's all there is to it.
I have to accept my own mental health struggles. And it's hard to do that, and it's in a group.
Hold on, let me read the chat. Well, not my chat, but the comments. Green Frog said, "Love for you that you refuse to better any part of your behavior issues and instead focus on things like your manicure, buying cringe hair color / haircuts, and lecture functioning others on how to be human." The Lord says, "Your weight is a daily reflection of your Your weight is a reflection of your daily habits. Your mental health is a reflection of your daily habits. Your wealth or lack of is a reflection of your daily habits." This whole video is Riri. Nobody is responsible for you but you. Thank you, the Lord, in all that is named. Jimbo Jimmy Jones Salad said, "Yeah, we get it. You figured out what to tell doctors to get them to give you pills." Oh, God. Nope. The Lord says, "Hey, guess what? YouTube is not a support group. Go to AA or something if you want people to listen and care." Yeah, and yes, I should say this. Mary, YouTube is not your virtual diary. You can't quit posting stupid shit like this on your channel. This isn't your dear diary.
Group where everybody else is telling you you don't have anything wrong with you, you're just making it up, you're just lying for attention, it's just drama.
She claims to be. She claims to be every mental illness in the book. One time she even tried to diagnose herself with autism.
That is not how mental health issues work. I did not diagnose myself. I am not medicating myself.
Yes, Mary. Yes, you are medicating yourself. You've been self-medicating by smoking weed and drinking alcohol, and you come on here saying that you don't do that crap? I mean, Mary, come on. Who is she making this video for? Does she really think that did she really think that people are gonna believe her? I mean, she's got like 814 subscribers. And most of those a majority of Mary's subscribers are basically trolls posting hateful posting a lot of shit in her comments. Sorry, I almost said chat. Because she doesn't do live streams. She has a community tab, and most of the people post in their comments of the community tab fucking with her, calling her out, pointing out the bullshit fallacies in her story. She doesn't have any real fans. She doesn't have real supporters.
I was diagnosed back when I was 18. I was diagnosed as bipolar. It changed to schizoaffective later, and then CPTSD was added. But when I was in school, like elementary school, the teachers wanted me to see a therapist, and my parents wouldn't allow it because they were in denial that there was anything wrong, either in the household or in their child's brain.
Maybe your parents didn't know.
I'm 36 years old.
And yet, you still act like a child.
And my family is still denying my very clear mental health problems.
No, Mary. They're denying your bullshit stories. They're not denying anything. If anything, your family is debunking your bullshit stories. Aunt Kathy knows the real you. She has seen the real you. Well, actually, she has heard stories about the real you. And honestly, do you really think anyone is gonna buy into your bullshit? You're selling it, but I'm not buying it.
And it hurts. That's really the only thing I can say about it. It hurts to know that
there have been people who have... Well, there is one person who believes her. The Batman. There is one person who actually believes her. And his name is James Clark. And the only reason why he chose to believe her was because he wants to spite Adonis Paul, Daywave, and Hatman. That's the only reason why he chose to believe her. James Clark III. James Clark III is a stalker who makes these cringy ass videos expressing his love for this woman named Eliana who hates his guts. And he goes on claiming that he's gonna go to Argentina because he wants to breed. And he claims that he's gonna go to Argentina because he wants to breed. And in Adonis Paul's community, he is basically a joke to everyone in Adonis Paul's community. There have been memes where they say, I must breed. I mean, dude, right now he's claiming that he's gonna fight Adonis Paul in a one-on-one Bloodsport Mortal Kombat match. Adonis Paul has watched Cobra Kai. He is a huge fan of Cobra Kai. He is a huge fan of the original Karate Kid films.
I can't have a family because they don't understand.
No, Mary. You don't have a family because your family hates your guts. Oh, shit.
They don't understand, they don't accept, and they will not budge on their belief that there is no mental health problems in our family. But there are.
You know, Batman, I was thinking about doing a stream on James Clark, but I don't want to. I mean, everybody is pretty much doing a video on James Clark, and it would be amiss if I did my shit on James Clark. I'm just gonna have to wait until the whole situation dies down, because right now Adonis Paul is having his fun with James as we speak. I mean, dude, I've never seen anyone more delusional than Adrastia until I saw James Clark. And oh my god, that guy is a complete and utter idiot.
If you have a loved one who is struggling mentally, please don't make them feel like they are more of a burden or that they're lying, because it's simply not how it works. And all you're doing is making your mentally ill family member more mentally ill by insisting that there's nothing wrong. All you have to do is get a job or get a man. No.
Or get committed into a psych ward for the rest of your life, where you're lobotomized 24/7.
All I have to do is take my medication and try to get to a place where I can get a job.
But you won't get a job because you're a lazy cow.
I definitely don't want a man.
That is true.
That's not something that I'm looking for in my life. Having a job one day is a possibility.
It's not. Because you're too lazy to even put in the effort.
But only if I can get to that place mentally. And it's going to be harder and harder to get to that place mentally when every day I have hundreds of people telling me there is nothing wrong with you mentally, just get over it.
No. People are telling you that you're faking it for sympathy. You're faking it so that you could get weed money.
And knowing that many of those people are members of my own family.
And Kathy has heard this story before.
They share my blood, and they have known that I've had these problems my whole life.
Yeah?
Even in the interviews, my family will say, well, she's always been this way.
And they are right. She's always been like this.
Yeah. I've always been mentally unwell.
No, you've always been crazy.
I can't express enough how important it is for family and friends to be supportive of somebody who is struggling with mental health issues.
That's the thing, Mary. You're faking mental health issues.
So a lot of the comments are saying, well, we can't do anything about it. It does.
Hold on, let me... It's 11:01 here in the Lizard Pit, and looks like we got 5 viewers watching. That's a good sign. We might get, hopefully we'll get more or less by the end of the night. And yeah, you just get my info from me. That's good. I mean, well, I get my info from Adonis Paul. And I also get my info from Aunt Kathy. I mean, Adonis Paul made 3 documentaries on this bitch. And he made sure that he did his research. And I applaud him for that. I actually applaud that guy. I mean... the guy is fucking hilarious. I love Adonis. He's fucking hilarious. And I try. But then again, I could always use a mentor. But, anywho, we got 5 people in the chat. I mean, it would be interesting if someone really believed her. Yes, to Batman, and that person is James Clark, or he's pretending to believe her, to spite Adonis Paul, because he hates Adonis Paul because Adonis Paul is fucking with James Clark right now, and that's funny. Well, that's because James Clark deserves to be fucked with, because the guy has been stalking this girl named Eliana, who already has a man in her life. And he doesn't like that. James doesn't like that because he's a poor incel. Yes, it is an anime schoolboy. I made this avatar in V-Roid Studios, by the way. I don't know, I just threw a few pieces together, and I try to make the skin like a dark grayish green to suit my look. And yes, I put a little Godzilla figurine on the table. And maybe I'll put like a Godzilla poster. Hold on. Hold that thought. I think I got something I can use. Bear with me. I think I can... I'm gonna put these posters in. I'm gonna use these as posters. Watch. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm just adding a little something something. There you go. Ah, shit. Oh, shit. I know. Thank you. Bear with me. My favorite Godzilla film? What's my favorite Godzilla film? I like the recent ones, like King of the Monsters. The recent ones, like Godzilla vs. Kong, King of the Monsters. I like the 2014 one, but one film that always means a lot to me is the 1954 Gojira. Both the original one and the 1956 American English version with added content. The American edited version for the American release. I also like some of the classic Godzilla films where he's fighting other monsters. And it's just the guys in rubber suits. I also like Shin Godzilla, the one that came out in 2016. I don't like the animes. But yeah, to me, I think the recent Godzilla film, I haven't seen Godzilla vs. Kong yet. I've been planning on doing it. I was planning on doing like a Godzilla marathon on his birthday, but I was too tired and too worn out to do so. So I just watched some clips on YouTube. Anyway, I like Destroy All Monsters. I haven't seen Destroy All Monsters yet. It's free on YouTube, and I might watch that right now. I just watched a Godzilla film earlier today. It was a Godzilla vs. Megalon. I don't usually watch the films in their Japanese version, in the Japanese language. I kind of like the English audio because it sounds so corny and cheesy. Especially with the child characters, it sounds like someone was trying their best to do a high-pitched voice, but you can hear the cracks, the voice crack. It's kind of funny. And the guy in the rubber suits, especially the old classic Godzilla films, where it's just a guy flailing around because those suits are so heavy and so hot. It's just like, damn. And I've been trying to get into wanting to make my own Godzilla suit myself. I mean, I've been wanting to get into making a Godzilla suit myself so that I could, I don't know, live out my dream. I don't know if that matters to you, but it matters to me a lot because I've always had a thing for Godzilla. I've always had a thing for Godzilla ever since I was a kid. Honestly, if I hadn't been covering people like Shani and Mary, I would spend most of my time talking about how much I love Godzilla. I kind of find some of the stories I kind of find the stories to be fascinating, even though some shit can be construed or there are plot holes everywhere. It's like Swiss cheese. But overall, a giant fire-breathing dinosaur attacking Japan has always been a story that pretty much intrigued me. Probably because of the dark themes of the original, such as the metaphor for nuclear power, because the original 1954 Gojira was made in response to the Hiroshima bombing. And Shin Godzilla was made in response to the earthquake that rattled Japan and the nuclear fallout, which was a result of it. The Fukushima power plant disaster. Oh, it'd be definitely dope. If I had time, I'd probably stream myself wearing it if I ever made a Godzilla suit. Anyway, yeah. And yes, I consider her a kaiju, a vampire kaiju, who basically an energy vampire kaiju. I mean, she looks like a monster. She looks like a kaiju.
Right, so a lot of the comments are saying.
Anyway, like I said, I could go on and on talking about how much I love Godzilla. But I'll save that for whenever I do another solo stream. Right now, let's get back to this mess.
So a lot of the comments are saying, well, we can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. YouTube is not a support system.
That's right, Mary. YouTube is not a support system. YouTube is a public platform. It is not your diary, your little journal, or your message board, personal message board, or your virtual diary.
No, YouTube is not a support system. But it's also not supposed to be an angry mob of vengeful, hateful people bent to destroy the lives of people who have said something to them that they didn't like.
Like what, Mary?
If you don't like me, you don't have to watch my videos. You don't have to see me. You don't have to comment. You can block my channel so it doesn't show up in your list anymore. Instead, you want to force me off of the platform because you say YouTube is your space. YouTube is very large, with a lot of different personalities and people on it. If you come across somebody who is not your type, you should simply block them and move on.
Now you're basically taking Shani's advice, Mary. And Shani is a class Keter kaiju. I mean, her funk can kill a moose. Shani's funk can kill a moose. I would consider her like Hedera, the smog monster, because all she is made of shit.
Of attempting to control them and make them leave the area that you have decided is yours, even though it is a public area. I know that YouTube is not a...
I know, Gray Man. I understand, Gray Man, but a lore video? Yes, I would love to get into Godzilla lore. I mean, maybe making a costume might be something, but maybe making a costume or talking about the process behind it might be something. But I still have a lot to learn when it comes to that shit.
Support system. Why did you have to make it a cult? Why did you have to make it if you're not exactly like us, you don't belong and you have to leave?
Mary, the world doesn't revolve around you. YouTube is not your personal message board. It's a public platform where everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And if you can't accept that, if you can't accept that people are entitled to their own opinions, then you don't belong here, Mary. I could say the same about Shani. But Shani is too stubborn and too egotistical to take anyone's advice.
That's not what it
and
was
so are you.
meant to be. It was meant to be a platform where everybody could share their thoughts and feelings and opinions openly and honestly, and find other people that support them.
Yeah. You had that chance long ago, but apparently you chose to be a piece of shit. You chose to lash out at people. You chose to react to comments calling you out on your bullshit.
That are interested in that. A lot of you have turned it into a massive gang set out to attack and destroy the homeless and the mentally ill and people that you simply don't agree with. You can say YouTube is not a support system all you want, but what is it that makes it what you've turned it into?
YouTube is not a cult either. No one is gonna decide to fuck with you because you exist. You're not the only one who has haters. There are other channels like you. There are other people like you who do irreprehensible shit for attention, who lash out at people, who offer them advice on how to improve themselves. And who are mocked openly for being a piece of shit, like you, Mary.
You don't have to support somebody, but you also don't have to abuse them. That's your choice. You have the choice. You can either support somebody or you can criticize and demean and abuse. You have chosen abuse.
The Lord said, "You aren't abused by YouTube comments. You say dumb things on a public platform, and people are allowed to respond." The D says, "I got news for you. There's no buts about it. YouTube is not a support system. If you can't handle the platform, leave. All you do is whine and yell at other people what to do." Jimmy Jones Salad said, "Big talk coming from a girl who screams the platform is killing her every week." Poon Gobbler says, "Or just a thought, maybe the problem isn't everyone else. Maybe the problem is you. Don't come on here and start telling people what to do and how to use this platform. We have no problem with it. You are the weakling. Grow stronger or leave." Femfix says, "Perfect advice that you should take regarding people that you don't like. Block them and move on. Take your own advice in regards to your family." Jimmy Jones Salad also said, "Maybe you should stop scolding the internet at large like some kind of psycho school marm. You'll get along with people better." Loki Larry says, nothing stops you. Nothing stops. You don't get to tell anyone what to do as well as you make public videos. We have the right to comment. Exactly. Maybe you should join Shani and Truthfully Trisha in their little support group. Adrasia, maybe honestly, if anyone like goes into like Truthfully Trisha's live stream, and if she sends out a link, please copy that StreamYard link and send it to Adrasia. I want to see her on Truthfully Trisha's little live streams. For some odd reason.
Obviously, there's nothing I can do to stop that. It's the way human nature is.
Who says you're human, Mary?
I'm not going to leave.
Who says you're human, Mary?
Public space. Just because you feel uncomfortable with me being honest and open about my serious mental health problems. I've also seen people saying you're just borderline and nothing else. Then why have multiple doctors diagnosed me with schizoaffective disorder?
I don't know. You look like the person who might be schizophrenic. Maybe it's schizotypal disorder, but you don't show signs of someone who might be who is schizophrenic.
And they'll say, well, you tell them what to diagnose you with. That is not how doctors work. That's not how mental health hospitals work. There were a couple that I was in for weeks at a time that would monitor me, put me on medications. They know what they're dealing with. I did not diagnose myself, or I would not have the medication that I need. That's what you people aren't understanding.
I would love to see Adrasia on Truthfully Trisha's next live stream. If you have like the StreamYard link, please send it to Adrasia.
Just like with a regular doctor, you're...
Odds are she might not. Odds are she won't come on because she's too afraid of people. And she's too enveloped in her own perceived victimhood to even interact with other people.
You're not going to go in and say, hey, I'm having a heart attack right now, and the doctor he's going to say, okay, we'll look at it. But he's not going to probably take your word. Like, if he does the test and it comes out that your heart is fine, you're not going to still be able to say, no, it's a heart attack. Because the doctor has done their tests and concluded what the problem is. Y'all aren't going to understand that.
I was going to ask.
You don't tell your doctor what's wrong with you. You tell them what your symptoms are, and the doctor diagnoses your problem.
You know, doctors can also do what is called an MRI. Right, Adrasia? Do you know what an MRI is? They scan your brain to see what abnormalities are in your head. They scan your brain patterns to pinpoint any abnormalities. And I'm pretty sure Adrasia has never had an MRI scan. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here right now. She'd be in a nut house.
That's the same with mental health doctors as it is with physical health doctors.
we're just about to reach the 2-hour mark. Looking good. Looking freaking good. Sorry, I was looking good. So, how's everyone? Yeah. Like I said, honestly, this woman, Adrastia, she doesn't really understand how mental health works, nor does she understand how doctors work. Maybe if you think about it, she only wants to hear what you want, she only hears what she wants to hear. And frankly, that's not how the medical system works. That's not how mental health works. But, anywho, I mean, where was I when I decided to continue on? Like I said, this is going to be my... We got only 8 out of 8, so yeah. I think this is a good way to end it off on. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, and we're pretty much making good time. So, if anyone is still in the chat, please shoot me some questions, and I probably might answer. The Batman asks, why is her chest painted with charcoal? Probably because she's been... Probably because she thought that charcoal was drugs. And she wanted to get her high. And yes, I would, and you're right, Gray Man, I would be ridiculed by the Geek Room for ages. I mean, Billy would never let me live it down. Neither would Sam. And besides, no one will know. No, because... And, but a lore video... Maybe I might do a lore video. Maybe I might talk about my favorite Godzilla films. Maybe I could talk about, like... I can't show the videos because of copyright issues, but I can give a gist of what they are. I could give a little... I can discuss them in thorough details. Maybe I could do, like, reviews and talk about them. I mean, there's so much lore I can go into that it would be a disservice if I, maybe I should start doing like a Godzilla podcast one of these days. But I'll save that for some other time. I want to get people who are also fans of Godzilla to come on. But we'll save that for another time. Anyway, let's get back to this insane sociopathic brat. This is the last video, folks. This is the last video of the evening. And we are at the 2-hour mark. So, thank you for sticking with me. I mean, I'm sorry I'm sorry you have to spend 2 hours listening to this whiny little brat cry about how everybody's being mean to her. But this is Adrastia we're talking about. She never takes any accountability for herself whatsoever. She doesn't want to take any accountability for herself. So let's continue on. This is the last video of the evening. I wonder why.
By the people who hate me and talk about me and have more viewers than me.
Bitch, you have 114 viewers. Oh, you're talking about Adonis Paul? Yeah, Adonis Paul has more viewers than you. He has more followers than you. He has more subscribers than you. And he makes a damn good amount of money talking about idiots like James. I mean, the guy is done with you. But I'm not. As a matter of fact, I want to basically get other people's opinions on this psycho freak. I also have to emphasize, that's why I suggested Miss Moonbear to look at Adrastia to see what her opinion is on. I always have to remind her that she is not someone you should feel sorry for. I mean, she is irreprehensible. She's a sociopath. She lies constantly because she refuses to take responsibility for her actions. And she's a piece of shit.
It took so long to get my Section 8.
Yeah, but during that time you were shitting in a bowl. You were living in a... Yeah, during that time you were living in a sailor's truck, pissing in a cup and shitting in a bowl. The folks who ran the church where you were parked in front of have told you to move your vehicle. Hell, they had to contact the guy to reclaim that truck. I'm pretty sure he has probably sold it to like a scrapyard because it's covered in shit. Because you pretty much... Because of the diarrhea, gluten diarrhea you spewed all over his seat. During that time, you were staying in a homeless shelter where you were surrounded, where the only stolen toilet paper is one with shit. And of course, let's not forget the fact that you were in a shower room with shit on the floor. I think your whole life is comprised of shit, Mary.
I had to be actively in therapy for over a year before I was approved. And then it took almost another year before I found a place that would let me in. Because other places, they kept changing the price after they found out it was a Section 8 because a Section 8 is guaranteed money. And so we would apply at a good price.
Mary's basically boring to some people. I mean, you gotta have an iron will to tolerate this bullshit. And frankly, I think I have a pretty much good iron will to tolerate the bullshit. Like I said, I can tolerate Adrastia. I can't tolerate Shani because she's annoying. She's dishonest. And I see a lot of Mary in her, or I see a lot of Shani in Adrastia. The only difference is that Shani was not an accessory to a murder. If anything, she would have been a perpetrator of a murder had the police not intervened.
That we could afford, and then the landlord would find out that it was guaranteed rent and raise it until
I could see Rev shitting in a bowl too.
it was a little bit higher than what we could afford. So I lost out on a lot of apartments. I've been here for a year, it's my home.
But for how long? You haven't been paying rent since you got your Section 8.
My home.
Not for long.
and people are now spreading the lies that I'm squatting here.
Well, they're not wrong, I guess. Probably because, again, you have not been paying the rent that you owe.
But I never actually had a Section 8. I just kind of walked into an empty apartment and took over. Somehow got the utilities on with no lease. Just somehow the apartment wasn't rented out. The police never came to make me leave, you know.
Well, you did register for Section 8, but it takes a long time for that to be finalized. But during that time, like I said, you were living in a truck. You were living in homeless shelters. You were living in a motel. Until you finally got your Section 8.
After a full year. The things they're saying doesn't even make sense. How could I have been squatting here for a full year with utilities in my name, but the police never come in to say anything to me about it?
I don't know, probably because people are fucking with you. Because you are in a phase. Because you are in a phase where you will pretend you will pretend to believe what random trolls tell you. Because you are so starved for attention that you'll pretty much take anything that's been given to you. Just wait. Just you wait. You'll start freaking out. You'll start having your meltdowns. You'll threaten self-harm. And then you'll scream constantly, falsely accusing people of crimes that they didn't commit. It's only a matter of time before that happens. This is just the dull phase. Watch. Just watch. It's going to happen. Why? Why do I believe it's going to happen? Because it's a routine. It's routine for her.
But the landlord never tried to rent out the unit to somebody else. Never contacted me to let me know that it's not my place and I need to leave. Never. Never anything. But still people are going to say, well, she doesn't really have an apartment.
Huh. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say that you were going to be homeless on Christmas? Didn't you say that you were going to be homeless for Christmas? Yeah. We basically figured that this was just an elaborate pity grift for people to give you money. Hell, Adonis Paul, out of the good graces, donated money to you, but you turned him down because you didn't like what he said about you. Christmas was about putting aside your differences for just one day. You should have been grateful for the gift that he gave you. It doesn't matter if you hate him. He was trying to be nice for you. He was trying to be nice to you. And so was Mersh. And what did you do? You spat in their face and talked shit about them. All because you keep claiming that they want you dead.
And even that is just, you know.
Hold on, I'm gonna read some of the comments. Max said, if you haven't been paying your very small part of the rent in months, you are a squatter in the eyes of normal people. Maybe not a squatter legally, but in the minds of the rest of us, that is what you are. Kimmy said, dear Lord, don't you get tired of listening to yourself? Only you can change your destiny. Stop blaming others for your past sins. Your life will forever be in torment until you do the right thing, and you know what that is. Roberta will haunt you for the rest of your days. You know what really happened, and that's your hell on earth. Kimmy's not wrong. Michael Hatfield said, always the victim. Most of your wounds are self-inflicted. Well, yes, Michael Hatfield, metaphorically and literally, but those are scratch marks. Lampy's human skin gimp suit says, this isn't your natural habitat. Home isn't it? This isn't your natural habitat / home, isn't it though, Mary? Everyone knows that hobos / orgs tend to live under bridges. Return to your natural habitat and unburden yourself about your part in Roberta's last moments, and your life will drastically improve. Oh, damn, that is funny. Fidel Castro said, I kept waiting for more floating heads to appear and sing Bohemian Rhapsody, but it never happened. Disappointing. Oh, God. Don't worry, Mary. I don't think you're smart enough to figure out how to squat somewhere for that long. I mean, she did squat in a truck. She squatted down and spewed diarrhea on the leather interior. Stop making everything so serious. They call you a squatter because you don't pay rent. That's it. That's all. Hobo Chili Recipe says, revenge for the potato. Be smiling. What are you looking at? Sticky said, what's your going price? I don't know who this is, but it says, lies. Funny. Floating head.
If I was to get a job, they would say I was lying about that. She doesn't really have a job. She just picked up a uniform at Goodwill. She's probably being a prostitute for the money.
Well, you did prostitute yourself for weed money. And you tried going back into prostitution last summer.
Not possible for her to have a real job, though. Just like it's not possible for her home to actually be hers. Not when you're a piece of shit like Mary.
Well, they're not wrong about you, Mary. You are a piece of shit. A lying, manipulative piece of shit. But you're too stupid to even gaslight anyone. The only person you're fooling is yourself, Mary. You have to make the change. You have to show that you can change. You can't just sit on your lazy ass and expect everything to fall in your lap. I'm sorry, bitch. That's not how life works. You gotta get out there and put in the work. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable for the remainder of your days, which is probably not going to be that long, knowing how you like to threaten suicide on a daily basis. And I know you're not going to succeed because you can't even break the skin to cause bleeding. I've seen the scars on your arms. You don't even do that right. You don't even cut yourself right.
agreeing with the hateful lies that are being spread.
Oh, here we go again. Dude, Mary, it's not your family's fault. They know this pattern of behavior. They know you've always been like this, ever since you were born, ever since you were a child. You've always been this way. You've always been this way since the day you were born. And I blame your mother for that, because from what I've seen, her rap sheet, yeah. Who's there to say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree?
There's no further proof in how abusive my family is.
I think it's the other way around, Mary.
Anybody who isn't like them.
No, you're the abusive one.
Be able to see
you abused your grandmother.
It is.
By threatening suicide.
To spread lies like that about your family members. Especially when they're sick.
You spread lies about your family all the time. You kept calling Aunt Kathy an evil woman. You kept saying that Aunt Kathy abused you by not validating your bullshit stories, by not validating the bullshit stories you spew in your books, which were not even actual books. Reality Check proofread them and corrected all your mistakes, and it just basically looks like an essay. It looks like an essay. It's not an actual story. It's not even your story. It's Dave Pelzer's. You basically ripped off a child called It. Not only did you do that, but you basically do a piss poor job trying to copy what he has described in his memoirs, and you tried to pass it off as your own.
Struggling. But they've lied about me my whole life. They've always said that, there's nothing wrong with.
Yes, scars. She has scars on her arms from failing to slit her wrists. There have been scars on her arms. She has shown videos of her scars. And frankly, she doesn't even do a good... She even fails at trying to cut herself. She fails at slitting her wrists, too.
Mary. She doesn't have any mental health issues.
Crawling in my skin.
Nobody did anything.
These wounds, they will not heal.
Manipulation.
Crawling in my skin. These wounds, they will not heal. Fear is how I fall. Confusing what is real. I could sing better than Mary, and that's a fact, Jack.
It's not possible for my family to admit that I needed help when I was just a little kid. But they denied me.
No, they didn't know. That's because they didn't know.
It's possible for them to admit that my mental health issues are real.
Maybe they are, but not how you describe them. The bullshit stories are not real. You were never abused. You were never locked. You were never chained to a radiator. You were never fondled. Like, you keep confusing your dad with Kenneth. Which is it? Is it Kenneth McBride who abused you, or was it your dad? You keep mixing the two And you keep saying that Kenneth McBride and your dad are the same person, which they aren't. Kenneth McBride was a monster. Your dad's only criminal history was selling pot to a minor. I'm just kidding.
To make sure that even if people hear me, they won't believe me.
Well, Mary, nobody believes you because you're dishonest. How many times have I said this before? I have said this so many times in almost every video I talk about, every stream I do on you. Mary, Adrasdia, Miss Barone, murderer, duck murderer, potato farmer. You lie so much that you don't even know what the truth is. And that is a fact. Also poopy.
Where do you go?
Hell.
When you know that
I don't know. Off the internet? Into a mental asylum? Into the deepest part of hell? I don't know. You tell me. How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. Got nowhere to run. The night goes on. Raise me up. I tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Lace me up. Lace me up. I've been looking for these angels in the snow. Yeah, I'm just basically singing some cringy emo songs from the early 2000s. Hey, I mean, come on. I went through a phase. I was a teenager. Actually, I was in junior high. I was in middle school when I started liking rock music, when I started liking other genres. But then I was in it was junior high when I started listening to rock music and started listening to emo music when I was in high school. Well, whose fault is that, Mary? Whose fault is it that nobody believes you? Clearly not us. Clearly not your family. And most definitely, clearly not the detractors. Not Adonis Paul. Not Royce Lopez. Not Daywave. Not JJ. Not even Hatman or Virgie. It's your fault. Your fault because you made the choice. You made the choices to put yourself in the situation you are in now.
by people with more viewers.
I barely get any viewers. But that's okay. I still have some followers. I still have supporters. That's something you don't have, Mary. Everybody hates you. Everybody who views your content despises you. But you don't want to accept that. You don't want to accept the fact that nobody likes you because, once again, you don't do anything to better your situation. You chose to live in freakish misery. You chose to be homeless. You chose to wallow in your own sorrow. You chose to drown in your own perpetual victimhood. Because it's easier for you. It's easier to be a victim than to prosper. It's easier to blame everybody else for all your own misfortune. Because you think they owe you compensation, they owe you validation, and they owe you money. You're a selfish, greedy bitch, Adrastia. And you refuse to take responsibility for your life, for everything you do. That's why nobody likes you. That's why you get hate comments all the time.
Or more believable simply because they have repeated over and over again.
Well, you are. Well, because it's not true. And that's gonna do it for now. And that is it. But don't go anywhere. As a tradition to end off the Mary stream, I know that I always have to end off the Mary stream right with a little cartoon made by Adonis Paul. In case you want to know what really happened the night Roberta Laws was murdered. Adonis Paul made this cartoon last year as a reminder of what type of person Adrastia really is. But before I play that, I just want to thank my viewers for stopping by, hanging out and chatting with me. And you guys, I mean, come on. You guys are freaking awesome. You guys are the reason why I do this shit all the time. And I owe it to you guys. You guys are my everything. You guys are my home. You guys are my army. Cut your wrist the right way and I'll give you $5. Oh my god. Dude, Mary is not worth. Save your money. Save your money to Batman. Mary is not worth the $5. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing other videos talking about other things aside from Adrastia, because fuck that bitch. Maybe someday I can look into the James Clark situation, because that guy is he's even more delusional than Mary. But I'm just gonna wait until the tension dies down. I mean, I'll let Adonis Paul have his fun. I'll let him have his fun with James right now. But for the time being, thank you for sticking around. You guys mean a lot. But the fun doesn't have to end. If you want to see more videos like this, you please hit that like button. Smash that damn like button. And subscribe to my channel for future videos, for future uploads. If you want to support me in other ways, again, I have a PayPal and a Cash App. if you want to support me in other ways. Both links are in the description, as well as the start of the chat. At the top of the chat, if you want to check them out. If you want to get a little personal with me, I also have linked my Twitter in the description. If you want to give me a follow, I don't know why you would go on Twitter, but if you can't afford to see a dominatrix and you want to feel bad. But again, I'll be doing more videos like this in the near future. But that's going to do it for tonight. But as I said, I do not leave my audience empty-handed. As tradition, with every Mary stream, I have to make sure everybody knows about the murder of Roberta Lulz. So I will close off this video with a little cartoon by Adonis Paul, followed by Mayo Combat. So, for one last time, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for showing up. And, that's pretty much it. I am Rickzilla. And I will be seeing you guys in the near future. Peace out, folks. Have a good night. Or morning, or wherever you are. And sayonara.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you...
Oh! Mary, why are you doing this to me? You were my best friend!
I'm sorry! I had to do it so me and Kenneth could be together.
You were sleeping with my fiancé?
Yes, I've been sleeping with him, but it's only because you want me to hurt myself. You were trying to push me to hurt myself by having cerebral palsy, making me sad every day.
No!
And now you have to die.
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes!
Why is there a cat in here?
That's Smokey! That's my cat and I love him! That's why I had to kill him like everything I love.
Why are my dogs in here? I'm not a murderer. Boo.
You'll die in that hole
Boo.
from exposure.
Boo.
I didn't do it! I didn't do anything!
No!
You made me do this! You made me do this by being engaged to the man that I love!
Hey, that's not right!
I'm sorry I didn't have my pooping bowl!
No!
Now that you're gonna be gone, I can poop anywhere I want!
Please don't poop in my balls!
How am I gonna fill in this hole? God damn it, stupid fucking woman, use a shovel! I already choked the bitch, you can't get rid of the body! But sweetheart, we don't have a shovel! Oh hell! Get in the truck, time to go to Walmart! Remember, this was self-defense because you were trying to get me to hurt myself! Bye!